between the contraction, it was a really, really nice feeling. And because of these feelings, I somehow didn't want to push. Like, why would I push if I am enjoying this moment? But the body pushed itself. Even if I was like logically or like try to convince my body, no, 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 don't push. No, it just happened. I was just there. My body did the work. I remember they were telling me, push some more, and I was thinking, but why? If my body stops alone. But then I went with them, like, push some more. But I was in this conflict. Why would I push? Because the other feeling, the pushing feeling.
We were having some game in a childhood.
In Slovenia, we say Indianski ogen, like Indian fire.
When you hold the hands and like squeeze like that, as much as you can. The feeling was like a lot of pressure and that the skin will break. I was thinking about this game and
I don't remember any other pain beside this Indian fire. So it was the conflict. Why would I break my skin if I am enjoying between the contraction? If I would have the same experience, I wouldn't do it. I would just go with the body because it was like a wave, really like a wave, and I force it a little bit with pushing a little bit extra. My pregnancy was unplanned and really, really tough. I was feeling really sick, basically had trouble moving. My husband was coming home all the time, cooking lunch and helped me to go to a toilet. I couldn't even like order a delivery and go to the front door and open the door because I was so sick. I didn't feel that I was afraid of giving birth. Like deep inside of me, I felt I will do it somehow. That doesn't mean I didn't have like days of fear. I remember like writing my doula, what if I'm wrong? What if it's really painful and I'm not prepared? And I will be shocked in the middle of the birth. Oh my God, I was wrong. It's really painful. And I know myself. I need space, a lot of space and time to process it. It was really important to talk about my fears. This is the way I prepare. Because if I will like suppress something, then it would be like a strong possibility that it will come out in the wrong time. So I was more like, okay, I will just talk about it. I decided to visually prepare for the birth. So I did mandalas. Mandalas are like common to use with anxiety. If you do it for half an hour, 45 minutes, it relaxes you. So I was imagining cervix to open up. So I was drawing like first the 1 centimeter, then the 2, then the 3, and around I draw like mandala. My due date was at 16 July. And I remember I started to leak at 16 of July. And my gynecologist said if I leak, I need to pack my things and go to the hospital. If I bleed, I need to call the ambulance. I remember I was like, yeah, I won't do that. So I start leaking and I call my doula. Basically, for what I gathered, that if I would go to the hospital, there is a strong possibility they will give me something to start the birth. And I didn't want that because I knew if I would have like artificial start of the birth, I didn't feel I could do it naturally. So I didn't want that, and basically I was measuring my temperature all the time. I didn't feel like I am putting myself or my baby in danger at all. On 18, I started to bleed just a little bit. But I waited. I decided I will wait. So the next day, 19 of July, my husband was at work. So at 4, I remember I wrote him on WhatsApp that I have a contraction. And then again, oh, I have another one and another one. And he was like, oh, maybe I should come home. And I said, yeah, come. I didn't feel it was super painful, but I could feel it. But contraction was irregular. It was like up and down, sometimes every 4 minutes, sometimes every 7, sometimes 12. And it was said to me that I'm supposed to go to the hospital if I am having contraction for an hour every 5 minutes. I told my husband, call the hospital and ask them. And he called. I registered in Urban because I heard it's a hospital that it's okay with natural birth. Because I was scared. I remembered that I was scared that they will try to push me to some direction. And I didn't want that. I just want my space. Also, at the end of my pregnancy, I didn't want to go to Untersuchungen. I just felt they are like too much for me, and I remember I say to my gyno, no, I am not coming. But you need, no, I am not coming. And I didn't. My husband called the hospital, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we are full, you cannot come. And I remember, like, I was angry. I felt like, what do you mean, like, we cannot come? I was shocked. And basically, he needed to find another hospital in the middle of the birth. Finding the hospital, not every hospital is like a birth hospital. I had to him call Maria Heizuchung because it's closer, and I wanted to be there at first place, but they didn't have a space. So we called there. I remember, like, he was on the phone and they were like checking, and like it took like, I don't know, 5 minutes. And they say, no, sorry, we are full, you cannot come. So he was looking another hospital. I remember he came from the room to here to this couch, the living room, with the computer looking at the hospital, and my contraction just started. Like, because it went from first call of the hospital, like all together, I don't remember, maybe less than half an hour, I was already pushing. I was like pushing every 2 minutes. Like, it was like that. It went. So he found the hospital like 15 kilometers away. We just gathered the things and went down. I don't remember how I came down. I just remember that the doula came at some point. We went down the stairs. We wanted to go in the car, and I said, like, I cannot drive to the hospital. It's too far. It's 15 kilometers. Like, I will give birth in the car. And I also remember that I said some words like, I cannot do it, I need medication, but I didn't believe it. I think, like, I was a little bit scared at that moment. Okay, now it's like, now it's happening. I was having this dress on and like a towel, and like, I remember I was pressing the towel towards my pelvis because I felt like she's already coming, and I was like repeating the words, she's coming, she's coming. Like, I was repeating the words all the time. I remember I was looking at the tree and said, should I lay down here and give birth here? I was in shock because I didn't have a place. I wasn't even focusing on the birth itself. I was just like, I don't have a place to give birth. Doula was really important here because she decided, like, okay, no, let's call the ambulance. So it was really important to have like a person who was calm, and then the ambulance is really like on the same street, like 100 meters away. So they come in like that in 2 minutes. And I remember when they arrived, I just felt relaxed, like I can give birth in the ambulance. For me, it was good environment, just like some closed space, not in the middle of the street. They asked me, do you want to give birth here or go to a hospital? And I said, oh, I want to give birth here. I don't know what happened. I don't remember interaction, but somehow they said, okay, let's try to go to a hospital. So they drove me to the nearest one, Charité Mitte. And when we went out of the ambulance, the entrance of the hospital is horrible for women giving birth because it has a small cubes, and the bed was like bumping. This was really painful. We went straight to the delivery room. I think there were like us three, and then two Hebames and one young doctor that was just looking like that, like from the distance, and then some older doctor came. So, but I remember one nurse. She was like, didn't speak English, but she really tried to speak English, and it was really nice of her. I was like lying on the bed and like looking at all these people. It was like funny. I remember like it looks like being in the grave inside, and oh, everybody is looking at you. And they say, okay, change the position, because I was lying in the position like we see in the movie. Maybe I was a little bit on the right side, on my right hip. We changed the position to a squat. It was hard to change the position, I remember, like uncomfortable, maybe a little bit of pain. And then, yeah, basically when I changed the position with first push, the head was out. And she started to move the body, and I thought that they are touching me. And I was like, stop touching me. It was uncomfortable. This was uncomfortable, but she was moving. And in the next push, she was out. So I can hold her right away. I didn't have any particular feeling. I just felt it's completely natural. The only strong, but really strong feeling that I had was, I know how to take care of her. Like, just give it to me. I know exactly how to take care of her. It wasn't, to me, it wasn't like experience like, oh my God, it's so beautiful, or oh my God, it's so painful. Like nothing, like no strong emotion, just like, just give it to me. I know how to take care of her. I remember the only happiness that I experienced was when they told me they have a family room and it's free. I was like, yes, now we can be all together. And I don't need to stay in the hospital alone. This was actually the stressful part for me, to stay in the hospital alone. First of all, I was never in the hospital. Second of all, with the baby. And the third of all, no family around. After the birth, when I was holding her, I remember they just grabbed my hand and just put something like in my veins, I think oxytocin. And I was thinking, no, I have my Angelica for this, like, don't do it. But I don't remember if they asked, or they were just asking and already holding my hand. I tear a little bit inside, they told me, so they were sewing that. But they didn't told me that they will press my uterus and control if like it's bleeding or not. So this part like was actually uncomfortable one. But I felt like my birth preparation, because I was using like essential oils and I was drinking herbs tea. I think this helped a lot. You never know what helped, but I personally believe like if in my mind it helped, then it helped.
My mother had a difficult time conceiving. I was hearing this all my childhood. I got pregnant by surprise. Emotionally, was hard on me. I didn't know what to do. I didn't expect it. I am 33 now, so I always thought, well, if I get pregnant, of course I will keep the baby. But for me, it was like, I don't know. I need to answer my questions like, will I be good enough mother? Do I have enough to give her? I am a psychotherapist. I must say that my conversation with my supervisor helped. To see someone in the same profession with similar story, it helped me. I know this was the turning point when I felt I can do it and decided, yes, I will keep her, I can do it.
So yeah, basically this is my birth story.
the system should be better. I believe pregnant women and new mothers should really feel secure that we have some place to turn to without a doubt.